My friends, today I'm here to give you the entire story. Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. I am Brianna, the diva behind Diva and the Divine, and today, my friends, you are getting my entire weight loss journey story. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit interesting, at least it was to me. I took pages and pages of notes. I went back and I looked at my Weight Watchers tracker from the very beginning, from day one. I looked at the ups, I looked at the downs, I looked at the up agains, and I figured out what my problem was, which we will get to at the end of this entire story. But as a weight loss influencer, I guess you could say, many of you have come to me because you found weight loss related content and you stuck around because you liked whatever it was I had to say. Well, however you got here, most of you are here because of the weight loss content, and I have never actually told you the whole story from the beginning. And as you guys know, I'm not at goal weight. I'm not. But I feel like I owe you guys the story anyway. So here's the story from the beginning with numbers. Let's go. So the story begins, are you ready for this? On February 8th, 2009. It was a couple of months before I graduated college, and that's not even the beginning of the story. The story began, I think, my freshman or sophomore year of college, and I actually used sparkpeople.com, which was completely free back then. There was no subscription of any kind back in, what year was that? 2006 maybe? And I lost a handful of weight on that, and then I gained it all back all within college. So I had a collegiate graph that went like this, or this, depending on how the camera actually does it. I went down, I looked pretty good. I was in a solid 150s, and then I all went up again before I graduated college. But I tried to buckle down. I was like, okay, we're doing this Weight Watchers thing. My aunt actually bought me my online subscription to Weight Watchers, and on February 8th, 2009, why is that so hard to say? My goodness, I weighed in at 167.8 pounds. Anybody who knows what I've been weighing in at recently knows that the journey is ending pretty close to where it began, which is mind-boggling if you ask me, because I look entirely different, but we'll get to that later. First interesting thing that happened, my weigh-ins were very sporadic on the WW graph thing, but my next weigh-in that was significant was the graph did not go down. Oh no, the graph went up. And on September 16th, 2009, so what, 7 months later, I weighed in at 188 pounds. What happened during those 6 months? I broke my ankle, I graduated college, I moved back home, and I tried to establish my new life, my post-collegiate life with a degree, trying to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to do with a music theater degree while living at home with my parents and my two sisters when I really didn't want to be living there, but I wanted to be on my own. I was so very blessed that my parents let me stay with them until I got married, was what got me out of the house. But at the same time, that's a stressful situation. I did not handle it well, and my weight went up. From my starting weight on Weight Watchers, my weight went up, not down. Over the next year, not joking, I skyrocketed up to 191 pounds. I've always said that my highest weight was 192. I must not have tracked that, but I vividly remember that being in my head. I never broke 200 pounds. My highest weight was 192 pounds. My highest tracked weight was 191 pounds, and that was on August 18th, 2010. So a year of steadily going up, living at home, figuring out what to do with my life, all that jazz. Oh, frustrating. And then, I don't know what clicked, I don't know what happened, but from August 18th, 2010 to August 27th, 2011, I lost 10 pounds. And I lied. I actually know exactly what happened then. I met my husband online. That's what happened. I met him, he and I started talking in June of 2011, and around that same time I got cast in the show Rent, which was a very physically demanding show, a very revealing show. I had quite the outfit on, and so between those two things of all of a sudden having this man in my life that I kind of wanted to impress and maybe wanted to hang on to, which I'm not gonna lie to you, is the entire reason I got to goal, and we'll get to that in a second as well. But I just met this boy, and online, never actually met him in person until, oh no wait, by that point I had. Never mind. I met him online in June. We met in person in late July. And by August, the end of August, I had lost 10 pounds. That's what happened there. And that is where the weight loss journey actually begins. August of 2011 is when the steady decline down the scale actually happened which was incredible. So things to note, after August 2011, when I weighed in at 181 pounds, 3 weeks later, I had lost 6.4 pounds. And then my birthday, I had lost another by my birthday, which was November 14th, I had lost another 2.4 pounds. The weight loss for me was always slow and steady. That was always the case. Whenever I'm actually getting it done, that is still always the case. I was never the big, massive losses at the beginning. The fact that I had a 6.4 pound loss divided up over 3 weeks was huge for me, but slow and steady always wins the race for me. By January of 2012, I weighed in at 167.8, which was my starting weight in 2009. So we've gotten nowhere. Fast forward to July of 2012, that's another 7 months afterwards, my friends, I clocked in at 150.8. So this entire time, once August of 2011 hit, I managed to steadily decline. I was in a routine. I was dating a guy who I was really excited about. I had a schedule that I was solid in. I was holding down, I think, 3 different jobs at the time. And I was regularly in theater shows. So my routine was solid, packed. I was at the gym almost every single day. Even though I still lived at home, my family and I had finally figured out how Brianna gets to eat what she needs to eat in order to lose weight, and the rest of the family does their own thing, and we just kind of kept things separated unless we planned ahead on eating together. And I had everything figured out, and because I finally got into that routine, and I had this motivator of this boy that I was dating, I know, totally vain and the wrong reason to be losing weight. But I'm being real with you. The whole point of this video is to be brutally honest. I lost weight because I met my husband, and it was the motivator that I needed. I had never really been in a serious relationship before then, and I was like, I knew early on that he was the right one. He didn't know that, but I knew that. I kept my mouth shut and let the journey happen. But the bottom line was, I was like, this is the guy. And everything just motivated me. I was on fire for this journey, and I got it done. So in July, I was 150.8. By the end of August, I was 142.8. And by the end of September, I was 139.5. And then things slowed down a little bit, but on November 18th, 2012, I hit my goal weight of 135 pounds. Yay! I did it, I did it, I did it. I did the math. August 2011 to November 2012 was 63 weeks. My friends, I averaged less than a pound of weight loss every single week. That was my average, less than a pound. Therefore, anybody who sits there and complains on Facebook, on wherever, I see it all the time. I only lost a pound this week. I'm gonna switch my plans. I wanna slap you upside the head. Slow and steady wins the race, and my weight loss and my journey to goal is proof of that. Now, granted, I'm on another journey to goal, but that's not the fault of the speed of the weight loss. I actually maintained that general loss for quite some time before things started to go up again, which was incredible. Slow and steady will always, 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 always win the race. Do not ask me how you lose weight in a quick manner. It doesn't matter how quick you lose. What matters is you lose steadily. Okay, moving on. What was crucial for me to realize upon looking at my charts was I managed to stay at goal weight or fluctuate, 2 pounds up, whatever, just I maintained at the same level straight through that holiday season. Christmas didn't bother me. Thanksgiving didn't bother me. New Year's didn't bother me. I managed to clock in January of the following year, still at 135. I actually thought my weight went up faster than that, but I hit 135 a couple more times throughout the handful of months that followed, which I didn't realize. And I think that's awesome. I am a master at maintaining my weight. What I am not a master at is losing it or preventing a gain, which I know, like, by definition, that is not, that's not the definition of maintenance, but hear me out. The journey continues. In March of 2013, so this was after the holidays had all come and gone and all that, I still weighed in at 135 pounds. Amazing. Good for you, Brianna. Nicely done. Here we go. Here's the journey back up the scale. So in March of 2013 is when I was still 135, right? In May of 2013, on May 25th, 2013, Eric and I got engaged, which was amazing and had absolutely nothing to do with the weight gain that's about to come. The week after, I moved out of my parents' house. and Eric and I moved to North Carolina, where he was going to go and do his master's degree in business, get his MBA at the University of North Carolina. My first big move since college. Almost immediately, or at least it felt like that, my weight went from 135 to 143 pounds. That's a gain of 8 pounds throughout this transitional phase. We moved in June of 2013. On my wedding day, which is January 4th, 2014, I weighed in at 140 pounds even, which is great. And not on that day. I obviously didn't weigh myself on my wedding day, but the weigh-in that was charted closest to my wedding day, which was either a couple days before, a couple days after, I can't remember off the top of my head, I weighed 140 pounds. 5 pounds more than my goal, which quite frankly is where my goal should have been to begin with at minimum. I should not have ever tried to weigh 135 pounds, ever. And I did it, and I maintained it for a period of time, but I really never should have been there. So the fact that I weighed in at 140 on my wedding day, I don't even count that as a gain. At the time I did. At the time it had me freaked out and I was an emotional disaster because I thought I wasn't going to fit into my dress, which was not a problem. It was 5 pounds. It wasn't a big deal, but that was the headspace I was in. I was in the headspace of a skinny girl, and it really, really messed with me. But at the end of the day, on my wedding day of the 4th of January, 2014, I weighed in at 140 pounds, 5 pounds up from my goal. Steadily throughout that next school year, I ended up slowly putting on 5, 6, 7 pounds. And then the next January, we went to Japan for a study abroad program. That is where 10 pounds came on almost instantly. I got uprooted from my normal life, my routine, which I wasn't doing very well at to begin with. I mean, there were friends. Our best friends loved to go out and eat all the time. They're food people. They still are food people. We're food people. I love me some food, don't get me wrong. I was exercising. I was very, very good at exercising the whole time that I was in North Carolina. But at the end of the day, we ate out a lot and sometimes didn't make the best decisions. And that is where the 6 or 7 pounds came on. Uprooting me and taking me to Japan is when all hell broke loose. Normally, Japan would be a really, really cool adventure to be on, but I'm gonna be honest, and at the time, I was not excited about it at all. I didn't know the language. We lived in an apartment that was on the 3rd floor that did not have an elevator option, which normally wouldn't be a problem, but when it's the dead of winter and you have CMT, you don't, oh, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. So even though we had some really cool experiences and I managed to kind of find a groove in terms of what I was supposed to do while Eric was at school all day, at the end of the day, I was not happy while I was in Japan for those 10 weeks. I gained a pound a week there, my friends. All I did was eat. I don't know how Japanese people stay so skinny because I thought for sure there would be easy access to tons of lean food and fruits and vegetables and all that jazz. So much of it was fried. So much of it was rice-based. And all of their sweet treats, this is an American problem, I'm sure, all of their sweet treats were not sweet enough to satisfy the sweet tooth. So I just kept searching. I kept searching for something that I was never gonna find or rarely gonna find in the Japanese food culture. And the result was I gained 10 pounds while I was in Japan during those 10 weeks. And that skyrocketed me back up to, let's see, did I actually write it down? No, so I must have been in my mid 150s by then. And then, okay, yes. So I must have been in my mid 150s by then. And then after we got back from Japan, we moved in with our friends that we would go out with and eat food with all the time for a couple of months while the 2 students actually finished up their MBA before getting a job and doing all these things. By the time we went to Japan, we knew what Eric's plans were after graduation, which was gonna move us back to Chicago. So we had no doubt where we were going. We didn't know where we were staying or anything like that, but we knew where we were headed. We moved in with our friends, finished out the school year, and then began the crazy process of moving back home. The stress and chaos of that entire summer is something I seriously never want to relive. We lived in 1, 2, 3, 4 different places by November. Oh my gosh, is that accurate? We moved in. We extended a visit to Florida because my husband's job didn't start until August. So we went and lived with my in-laws for a month because who doesn't want to live with paradise in your backyard for a month? So we vacationed, moved in with whatever. We were with my in-laws for an entire month that summer. We moved up to Chicago and we moved in with my parents for legit a hot second because that house wasn't big enough. My 2 sisters were still there. All the dogs were still there. It was crazy. So it took about 2.5 seconds for us to realize that wasn't gonna work. And we ended up moving in with good friends from my old church who didn't know Eric very well but knew me, and they were willing to open their house to us for as long as we needed because they had a guest bedroom and no children. And we lived with them from probably July of 2015 through November of 2015. So by August, I apparently decided to weigh in, and I clocked in at 168. And that was August 2015. January 2014, I was 140. And I just realized how much weight gain that was. Holy crap. I managed to maintain that weight the entire handful of months we lived with those two, which was wonderful because we ate really well. We always had desserts. We ate dinners together. So I managed to maintain that weight solidly the whole time. At November 2015, we moved into what you guys know is our last place, our condo that we lived in for several years after that. That month, or the month following, December 2015, that was the launch of SmartPoints. I spent the next 3 years battling to lose 5 pounds. 5 pounds because of SmartPoints and Freestyle. 5 pounds. How frustrating is that? And then in April of 2018, I made the announcement that I was switching to Points Plus, and that's when I joined iTrack Bites. That's when I started the Carb Conscious plan, and that's when things started to go in the right direction, finally. After a handful of months, and I didn't actually write down the date apparently, but once I transitioned to Points Plus, I shortly after that managed to get down to the 150s again, and I weighed in at 159. And that is kind of where I floated for a while until the stress of 2019 happened. 2019 was a completely chaotic year. It still is 2019, so we're still in that chaotic year. But we knew very early on in the year that Eric was going to be changing jobs. We learned that very, very easily, He made that decision very, very early on. And then we went through a transition of job searching time, which was a huge blessing that his old job gave him this time necessary to search and find just the right job for him. It was a huge, huge blessing. To him, it was job searching time. It was career changing time. It was very exciting, stressful, very stressful, but exciting. But for me, I had to sit back and watch all of this happen and have absolutely no control over any of it. And I just knew that my life was going to be uprooted and changed because I just had this feeling. We really wanted to stay put. We wanted to stay exactly where we were, but I just knew that it wasn't going to go that way. So all I had was this stress and this weight bearing down on me. So what did I do? I ate. Because apparently that's what I do when times of transition happen. I eat, I don't give two craps, and I gain weight. Only during times of transition though. That's the thing. So beginning of 2019, Eric announces he's going to change jobs. He spends the next couple of months searching. Ultimately, we figure out where he's going. Hello, Minneapolis. And then during the summer, we ended up moving. We left all of our stuff behind, got our condo ready to sell, and Eric started his job at the beginning of August. August? July. He started in July like 15th or something like that is when he started his work here. So by then we were in Minneapolis, and then we had temporary housing, and then all the chaos of moving, and now I'm here and I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to do, what my routine is. I have no church, I have no community, and it's insane. So the bottom line is this entire journey was a journey up, down, back up again. And here I am 10 and a half years later, 10 and a half years after I started, essentially the same weight that I was on day one. Give or take 2 or 3 pounds, that's where I'm sitting. And realizing this is both incredibly encouraging and incredibly frustrating. And here's why. First, when I looked at all of these charts, and this was just before I started filming this, I looked at all these charts and I realized that transitions were my issue. As long as I was in somewhere long enough to be able to establish a routine, I could at least maintain my weight, or if not, lose a couple of pounds. Have I been able to recreate the situation of me steadily losing almost 60 pounds in the matter of a year and a handful of weeks? No, I haven't been able to figure that one out yet, but I've managed to at least get the scale to drop a couple of pounds as long as I'm in one place long enough to be able to establish routines. I firmly believe that if SmartPoints hadn't happened, I would have had it figured out when we were living in our condo in Chicago. But SmartPoints literally took 3 years of my weight loss from me because I was on the wrong plan for my body. But that's not the point of this video. The truth is, transitions are my downfall. and I don't know how to fix that. And I'm furious to learn that that is my downfall, because I'm married to a man who pretty much guarantees that I have several more transitions happening in my life, and I desperately don't want to step backwards anymore. I don't want the scale to go up anymore, and I'm kind of freaking out about it, I'm not gonna lie. But I have also learned a lot about myself, and I've grown a lot, especially in the last year or so. And the other thing that I have is confidence in knowing that I'm doing the journey right this time. I'm following a plan that I love, and my new goal, which is not a number because I don't actually know what my number is yet, but my goal is not to be the skinny girl. Never again am I going to weigh 135 pounds, or at least if I am, it's by the grace of God and under no intention of my own. This time around is different. This time around, I am focusing on strength. I am focusing on building muscle. I am focusing on toning up my body, eating healthy foods, eating the right foods, not filling my body with chemicals and crap and diet foods. I'm focused on doing it the right way, which means it's gonna take me a while. But apparently it took me a while the first time too, and I just never noticed because of one key thing: consistency. I was consistent in establishing my plan, eating within my points, going to the gym. I vividly remember being regular about going to the gym, getting my step goal, working out, going for walks, all that jazz. I was incredibly active. It was for the wrong reasons. It was just to burn extra calories. It wasn't to get fit. It was to burn more and to lose weight faster. But the point was that I did it. I know how I did it, and I know that I can do it again with this new mindset, because this time this mindset's about health. This mindset is about longevity. This mindset is about lifetime. And I'm at lifetime, that's not what I mean. But I mean, it's not gonna be about meticulously counting every calorie and flipping out if the scale goes up a pound or two, because that's another thing that happened. If I saw the scale started to go up, I would freak out about it, and that emotional freak out didn't help. Instead, I need to chill out a little bit, realize that this is a slow journey that I have done once before and I can do again, and my approach is completely different, which hopefully means my results will be different. Not in the sense that I would lose weight differently, because if you're losing weight, there's only one way for the scale to go, and that's down. But in my just approach and my mindset. And if I can get a grip on my mindset while I'm here, while we are in this place, before any other crazy life-altering transitions that will cause all hell to break loose and have me lose my footing yet again, hopefully by then I can get it done and get in the right headspace where a transition won't hurt me next time. That is going to be my goal moving forward. Also, something that is interesting is this time around, I'm the same weight as my starting weight 10.5 years ago, and I look completely different. I'm a lot stronger. My face is still a lot thinner. My waist is a lot thinner. My clothing size is a lot smaller than it was, which I don't understand. I'm obviously doing something right, because even if I'm the same weight, my body looks completely different at the same weight 10.5 years later, in the positive sense. Usually as people get older, the body changes in ways you don't want it to. For me, it's changing in ways that I do want it to. And this is encouraging to me, because it means that maybe I don't have as far to go on this journey this time around. Maybe my body will be where I want to be only 20 pounds from now instead of almost 60, although I didn't get all the way back up to my highest weight. So the 60 thing is neither here nor there. But you know what I'm saying? This journey is a journey, and it has been a crazy journey. It has been a roller coaster. It has been insane. It has been the most emotionally taxing thing that I have ever done, but it's not over, and it's never going to be over, because your journey to goal is never ever going to be older. I know my story is not the only story like this, where you've gotten to goal and then you've gotten back up and you haven't gotten back yet. We've all been there, or at least most of us have, and I'm here to tell you that you are not alone, that I am fighting the good fight right along with you. I might be here encouraging you and giving you the tough love you need to get it together on your weight loss journey, but rest assured, I am not perfect, and this video is proof of that. I am literally exactly where I was 10.5 years ago, but I have been to goal, and I promise you, my friends, I will get there again.